Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Made It year-end motivational event. My name is Faith Ganda, and I'm your host this evening. One thing I'm really looking forward to today is giving out some amazing prizes throughout the duration of this event. While we give everybody a chance to enter for the $25 Amazon gift card, I want to know where you guys are tuning in from. So let me know in the public chat where you're logging in and tuning from. But most importantly, guys, I would like to welcome you all for joining us here this evening. 2020 has been such a rough year, but we made it. So we're all here today to celebrate every single one of you for making it through a very interesting year. But more importantly, we're here to motivate you and to encourage you to continue to dream big and work hard and to develop those transferable life skills. We have an incredible lineup of guests and panelists and amazing prizes. Oh, and don't forget an incredible DJ. So again, I encourage you guys to participate on every single giveaway that we have going on because I want to see as many people win this evening. But before we continue, I want to just bring out the guy who has made this evening possible, and that is the founder and executive director of Skills for Life, Chris Thompson.
Hello, everyone. So great to have you all here tonight at this event. Thank you, Faith, for doing a wonderful job, and for everybody on so far. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being on this. So basically, I just want to say thank you for coming on. Skills for Life is all about inspiring youth to look to set goals for the future, to basically learn about life skills from an earlier age so that you can go on and overcome challenges and go for success in the future. So quickly, what I want to do right now is just so you know, it's not just me. I do have a team. Maybe we can put up the picture of my team. We have a whole staff of Skills for Life members around in the background doing a lot of things, helping out. So I just want to say thank you for them. Also, quickly, we are partnering with this event with a group called BYSSI. There's an organization of them looking to help Black youth in the Peel region. They've also helped to promote this, so I just want to make sure to shout them out. And finally, this event is sponsored by the city of Brampton, the Advanced Fund, so I want to thank them for helping us out. But yeah, Skills for Life is quickly just about challenges, facing your challenges, overcoming them, and knowing that you can pursue things. And that's why I created this thing 3 years ago. So enjoy the event. We're going to have a good time, and I just want to say thank you again.
Thank you so much, Chris, for, just again, putting this amazing event on and building such an incredible initiative. For me personally, I think what I love so much about this great organization that you've built is the mentorship aspect. And guys, for anybody wondering, I'm actually one of the mentors for Skills for Life. So if you're looking for mentorship, definitely sign up and connect with me and many other great mentors that Skills for Life is offering. I have seen firsthand the kind of difference that it makes having a mentor in your life. So I highly encourage all the youths in this event to sign up for mentorship. Again, if you guys are looking for mentorship program, you can email info@theskillsforlife.ca. I'm excited to introduce you all to the first guest of the evening, Wally Shah. Wally is a public speaker and a poet who uses his talents to motivate thousands of students across Canada. Help me in welcoming him.
Thank you, Faith. And hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be a part of this. Thank you for having me. Shout out to my boy, Chris, for putting this together. My guy, Chris, is a great friend, one of my fellow basketball heads. We go head to head at UTM many times. Where we both went to university. And so thank you, Chris, for organizing. Thank you for having me. And to everybody here, thank you for joining us and being a part of this evening. Thank you for the introduction, Faith, and for everything you've been doing. I'm really excited to be here. And, one thing I want to just kick off with is my art form, and that is spoken word poetry. And I started doing spoken word when I was in high school and never looked back. And now it's a full-time career. And so I want to start with a spoken word poem that I have written. And this poem is really relevant with some of the stuff that's going on right now with the turn of the new year. And I think you guys will resonate with it. So this poem is called Dear Humanity. Humanity, with love and respect, it's time to give up. Not a single person feels that keeping our distance has brought us closer. Racism will always exist. You're wrong to assume that people have changed. Life lessons won't matter when we look back at missed opportunities. The disaster we were in made us forget about doing random acts of kindness, because our individual desire takes priority over a greater good for all. 2020 made it clear. Things won't be better this coming year. And you're mistaken if you believe faith is stronger than fear. Wearing a mask is pointless. And I'd be crazy if I said, I'm alive today because of you. Now let's read this in reverse and change our point of view. I'm alive today because of you. And I'd be crazy if I said wearing a mask is pointless. Faith is stronger than fear. You're mistaken if you believe things won't be better this coming year. 2020 made it clear. A greater good for all takes priority over our individual desire, because doing random acts of kindness made us forget about the disaster we were in. Missed opportunities won't matter when we look back at life lessons. People have changed. You're wrong to assume that racism will always exist. Keeping our distance has brought us closer, and not a single person feels that it is time to give up. With love and respect, humanity. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thanks, Faith.
That was so good, Wally. Thank you so much for sharing your talents and your skills with us. But I guess I kind of wanted to have a chit chat with you and a little bit more about you and your story. So it's to my understanding that you actually started off rapping. So how did you kind of go from rapping over to poetry over to making it like a career?
That's a great question. Honestly, when I started rapping when I was in high school, I was like freestyling with my buddies at lunchtime. You know, people would just like they just like loved hearing freestyles. And so when we were at the lunch tables, when we were outside in the schoolyard, you know, someone would have a boombox or something and just start playing beats, and you know, me and my guys would just start going off, and we just take random words and start freestyling with them. You know, we'd be like, "Yo, we're outside chilling by the grass. I got math. I don't want to go to class." And we just like keep going, you know, and that's where it all started. And when I was like 15, 16, I started listening to one of my heroes, one of my favorite rap artists named Tupac Shakur. And hearing Tupac's music was really powerful. But what was even more powerful was that Tupac was a poet. And I had a teacher in high school that gave me a book of his poetry. And in this book, Tupac was talking about growing up in a low income neighborhood. He was talking about seeing drugs in his community. He was talking about having his friends get put in jail or killed by the police. He was talking about, you know, growing up without a father figure and being discriminated against because he was a Black man. And these were all things that, you know, I could see myself in some ways, right? Being a minority myself, being a South Asian, being discriminated against, being called a terrorist because I was a Muslim when I was in school. I could relate to having, you know, those struggles in my life. And because there was this connection with Tupac's poetry, I just said, man, this is something I really want to do. And more so because it was a message that needed to be heard. Whereas sometimes there's a lot of rap that doesn't really necessarily have a positive message to it. And so, you know, young kids will latch onto that. I think that's cool, but really there isn't always a great lesson behind it. Whereas poetry, at least in my opinion, has more power in terms of the message that it can bring. So for example, the poem that I shared, it was a very difficult poem to write because it has to make sense when I read it regularly, but it also has to make sense when I read it in reverse. And the powerful, and that's why I wanted to share it, because it's like everything that you share with people, whether it's a post on social media or whether it is a album of music, there should be some strong intention as to why you're doing it. And for me, as a musician, as a creator in the creative space, it's just like I wouldn't want to put out something that doesn't have meaning or depth to it. You know, my whole MO in this life and with my career as an artist is to create something that is thought-provoking, to create something that would make people think deeply and have great dialogue and discussion. everything else kind of just sort of fades away after time. The reason we remember great music is because it pulls at our heartstrings and makes us think about certain things in a very deep way. Songs that we listen to at parties or songs that we just jam to, like we forget about that in a couple of months and we never listen, to it really ever again. So for me, that was always my motive. And that's why I wanted to really pursue poetry and how I came across it.
Wow, that is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. And first of all, shout out to you for being a creative genius, because to write a poem that makes sense from the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
It's evident that you're obviously talented and you're great at what you do. But I'm sure many people watching can relate to this. Sometimes the things that we're great at, our parents, families, and friends don't necessarily always support it because it doesn't make sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you're extremely talented and anybody who comes in contact with you can see that, did you ever have like a challenge with your parents or your close friends when you decided to make this a career path for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, who should have been my greatest supporters ended up actually becoming my greatest adversary, and that's my parents. And coming from, as I mentioned before, a South Asian Muslim background, my family, they were very, very strict in terms of what they wanted for their kids. And I think a lot of immigrant kids will be able to resonate with that because, when your parents are struggling, when they come to a different country, giving up everything they had back home, they need you to do well as your child. They want you to succeed financially because they know what it's like to be burdened financially. They want you to have a good career and a good life for yourself because they struggled their entire lives to give a little bit of that to you. And so growing up, my parents always said, look, Wally, you got to be a lawyer. You got to be a doctor. You got to be an engineer. You got to be an accountant, and all of those are great careers. And I would never say don't do any of that. But I would say what's more important than having a great career is having a great passion. Because when you're passionate about something, then it's not about the money anymore. The money comes and the money goes, and it will go and come in any career. But when you're passionate about something, even on the days that you may not feel like you want to go into work, you'll want to go and do your passion. And so when I get up and I have a chance to log into do a session like this, it's all about why. And my why is I'm getting the chance to make a difference. You know what I mean? A paycheck at the end of the day is great, but it's not the end goal. Like if you're a doctor, you're not in it for the money, man. You're in it because there are people's lives at the end of the day that can be saved because of your work. Teachers, you're not in it because you want your summers off or you want your mat leave. Those are great benefits and you should look at that. But there's kids that might be saved in that classroom that you get to teach in. And I think that's God's work. You get to do that, and for me, I just feel like that's always been my purpose. And my parents never understood that. And I really had to fight for them to understand that. And it took a long time for me to say, look, see my perspective, see my point of view, to the point where they were like, no, like, we don't even want to hear it anymore. The point where my dad, one time, he just like ripped up my poetry books and my writing, but if anything, that made me stronger and it made me more, I think one thing that it did was it pushed me to my end goal even quicker, was because I felt like having someone doubt me pushed me to become greater than their doubts. And that was important for me. It's like if you ever see how diamonds are formed, diamonds they're rocks that are under the earth. They are under immense heat and immense pressure, for millions of years. So when they're extracted, they become, this beautiful, expensive thing, right? Other than that, they're just rocks. So what is going on in your life? What are the challenges that you're facing that are helping you become that diamond? Because when challenges occur, a lot of people are like, oh man, why me? Why am I experiencing this? I don't want to go through this. But it's like, why not you? What are you learning from this? How are you turning the people that doubt you into people who believe in you, right? I remember the time I did a show. It was 16,000 people for Microsoft at the Air Canada Center, now the Scotiabank Arena, 4 years ago. I was 21. That was the first time my dad told me he was proud of me, and that was huge. but it was because I stuck to my why. I stuck to my passion, and everything else came. It come, I feel like the universe, God, whatever you believe in, he makes his path for you.
Mm.
And when you stick to what you believe in, it just happens. And for me, that was my path and that was my journey. And now my parents are my greatest supporters, but you got to go through that. Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. It's obvious you're a poet because clearly you have a way with words, because I'm out here with goosebumps and everything. Like there wasn't one thing that you did not say that I wanted to finger snap to, but I had to respect your space so the audience could hear every single word. So that was really great. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. But now it's easy for you to easier, let me say, because it might not be easy. It's easier for you to say all of this now because you've kind of made it through. I kind of want to take you back to the moments where you were kind of doubting yourself because the odds were against you or everybody is speaking against you. What was it like during those times when you were having second thoughts, and how did you push past that?
Those were definitely tough moments. And there was many times where I wanted to give up on my career and think that there's really no future for me as an artist. I remember days I was so depressed. I didn't even want to get out of bed, man. Like it was bad. But number one, I think my faith got me through. I think that my belief in a higher power that was guiding me to my purpose is a big factor in terms of my mental health and my clarity in life. But the second thing was I surrounded myself with good people. I think that the people that you surround yourself with are incredibly important in terms of indicating the kind of person you are yourself. So if you're with people that waste their time, if you're with people that do drugs, if you're with people that they don't care about their family, then you're going to end up becoming someone that does drugs and doesn't care about their family and waste their time. And so one thing that I was very, very intentional about was, who are the people that I'm surrounding myself with and spending my time with? Who are the people that I allow to speak into my life? So who are the accounts that I follow? Who are the people that call me on a regular basis? And I'm not saying go cut a whole bunch of people off, but I'm saying be careful of how much time and energy you're putting into relationships that don't serve you. That is incredibly important. Sometimes you're in a relationship with this toxic dude or this toxic girl, and you don't even really know if it's going to go anywhere, but you're there because you're just conveniently in a relationship and you don't want to be alone. But sometimes in moments like that, and it's the same thing with friendships as well, but sometimes in moments like that, we need to step outside of that and say, look, what is really happening here? Why am I here? And if it's not a good reason, again, if you don't remember your why, then you need to leave. Because if that's going to be the reason that you stay, you're never going to allow other greater things to come into your life. And I think one of the biggest reasons I was able to overcome my obstacles was because I had those great friends and those great support systems. And I had a wonderful teacher in high school named Miss Riley that, was an angel blessed by God that carried me through some very, very difficult and dark days. Days I was in trouble with the police. I was, fighting with my parents. I was in trouble at school. I was failing classes. And just to have people in your corner and in your circle that will get you through those tough days means everything. And also to reciprocate that and be that for someone else who's going through a tough time is equally as important. That's why we're here.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure there's a lot of takeaway from the audience. So Waleed, thank you again for your story and for your poem. We really appreciate you taking this time. Now, moving on with the program, as you guys know, one of the core skill sets for Skills for Life is goal setting. More importantly, SMART goal setting. Now, for those of you who don't know what SMART goal settings are, I'm going to take a quick moment to explain so that we're all on the same page. They're basically a way to set your goals more strategically. And this is so important as we wrap up 2020 and prepare for 2021. So what are SMART goals? SMART goals are an acronym. The S stands for specific. Your goal needs to be specific. The M stands for measurable. You need to be able to measure and track your progress or your goals. The A is for attainable. So your goals need to be both challenging, but also realistic and attainable. The R is for realistic. Like I said, your goals need to be realistic. And then the T is for timely or time-bound, meaning there needs to be a due date or a date of when you hope to accomplish those goals by, because that creates a sense of urgency, which will motivate you to work harder and faster on your goals. Now, without any further ado, we're going to bring up some amazing guests to the stage, and I'm excited for this next set of panelists. We're going to talk to some of these people, hear some of their challenges and their strategies for setting goals. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Erin Ashley, who's an HR specialist and a published stylist. Then we also have Andrew Gray, who is an overseas professional soccer player who grew up in the GTA. Lastly, we have Abena Addo, who's an engineer at the Metrolinx and the founder of the NFP Aspire for Hire. Sorry, we also have Gavin Smelly, who's a Canadian track and field Olympian. So I welcome you all to the forefront. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, we can go ahead right into the questions. I'm going to start off by asking Abena Addo, what are you currently doing for a living, and do you have any additional side hustles?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Can everyone hear me okay? Or can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So my name is Abena. So as you mentioned, I'm a senior engineer at Metrolinx. So there I do a lot of the transportation planning for the region. And I'm also the founder and executive director of Aspire for Hire. So Aspire for Hire is a not-for-profit organization that provides high-level leadership and basketball training to youth in the GTA. And then I'm also co-founder of an athletic line called Athleisure Net. And what we do, it's just a clothing line for athletes and anyone who likes working out in comfy gear.
Wow, very impressive. I'm just looking at you like, do we have the same 24 hours in a day? Because sis, you're doing a lot. So kudos to you, quite impressive. We're gonna move over to Erin. If Erin could just let us know a little bit more about what she does. Yes, any side hustles that you have, let us know.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here, and thanks so much, Chris, for putting together this great event. So I work within HR in diversity and inclusion, so kind of looking at racialized minorities, disability, LGBTQ, and women, trying to increase employment and make it more equitable. I'm also a stylist, so I style in music videos, commercials, photo shoots. I'm also a director. I'm currently directing a documentary on colorism in Toronto.
Ooh, very, very, very lovely. I love how like diverse your resume is, but when you kind of look at it, it kind of all ties in together in a kind of an interesting way. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Erin. And then if we could have Andrew let us know a little bit about what he does professionally, and if you have any side hustles, we'd love to hear about them.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew. So for a living, I've been playing professional soccer for the past 8 years or so. I recently stopped last year and transitioned into entrepreneurship. So right now I operate a soccer academy where we pretty much develop kids and train kids that want to excel to the next level, that have a vision and a dream, and don't necessarily know how to get there. And we assist them in doing that. Secondly, this year, actually, I just started a second company, which is a medical device company where we sell medical devices to healthcare organizations and anybody really looking for medical devices. So those are my two hustles that I have going on right now. I'm also an author. I've written a book as well called A Letter to My Younger Self, which is once again just me giving back to the younger generation and kind of assisting them, letting them know a bit about my story, what I've done in order to get to where I needed to be. So that's what I'm currently doing, and I'm just happy to be here and speak to you guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andrew. And again, I would love to travel and get paid while, playing my favorite sport overseas. That's pretty impressive. And also to see how you've kind of taken on this new journey of entrepreneurship. Again, very impressive. I'm just like, how do I connect with every single one of you guys? You guys are all doing amazing things. And then next we can have Gavin up. Would love to hear a little bit about what you do professionally as well as your side hustles.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Well, I'm a track and field athlete, compete with Team Canada. I've been doing that for quite a while. So now we're stuck in this situation where we don't know if it's going to be Olympics yet or not. But that I still have faith that it might eventually happen sometime next year, hopefully. So And then my little side hustle now, because I have the time on my hands, I just help like younger kids right now, especially who wants to get into track and field. And then whoever needs any type of speed development, I've been just helping them develop into a better player. And then, you know, they're able to actually tap on some sort of speed, or if not, just work on technique and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool seeing some of these guys actually you know, get faster, and you know, and it's a pretty cool thing. So I'm thankful that I get to do that right now with the time I have on my hands because of COVID.
Thank you for sharing. I can officially brag to my friends now. I'm like, guys, I've had a chat with an Olympian. Like, I can officially add that on my bucket list.
Yeah.
That's so impressive. Thank you so much for joining us, Gavin. We really appreciate you taking your time. Aaron, I'm going to head over to you and ask you, how do you go about setting your goals? I think it's really important for us to share with the audience some strategies for goal setting, especially with the new year fast approaching. So how do you set your individual goals?
So when setting my goals, I pretty much start with a big picture of what I want to accomplish. So going into 2021 now, of course, you know, beginning of the year, I'm going to set goals for the year, but then I'm going to work a little bit backwards and see, okay, if I want to get to this place, what do I need to do to get there? And from there, continue to make smaller goals and then break those goals pretty much by quarter, just so it's a little bit more manageable. And then when I'm focusing on those smaller goals, just really visualize, manifest, eat, sleep, think. That's all I'm thinking about is those smaller goals that will play into a bigger picture. I also think, you know, how I make my goals is being very aggressive. Like, I think a lot of times people make goals and they're very safe, and, you know, they're things that they can achieve. And I don't really know if that's really serving them. I try to make very, very aggressive goals, things that I don't even think I might not even meet them myself when I first start. I set out for it and really just push and challenge myself. And I think in doing so, I'm kind of able to unlock more and more of my potential. And I think same goes for everyone else. Like, yes, we're on this journey to find our purpose, but I think we're also on this life journey to find what is our full true potential. And we're only going to do that if we set really aggressive goals that really allow us to challenge ourselves, and we're not afraid of that challenge.
Love that. I think for anybody that's wondering what Aaron is talking about, if you guys want to look a little bit into it after, it's called reverse engineering. So that's where you start with a bigger goal and then work backwards. So thank you for that. I think that's really, really brilliant. And that's something that our audience can take away and use as they build their goals for 2021. We'll head over to Andrew. Andrew, how do you set your goals?
Similar to what Aaron said, I like to work with like the end goal. So I try to visualize my end goal, what exactly I want to accomplish. And then, like she said, work backwards, right? So just setting smaller goals that are going to get me to that bigger goal. I also like to write my goals down. So I try to, on an everyday basis, you know, wake up in the morning and just write down the goal that I want to achieve for that day or that week or that month. So I believe in like the power of writing things down, just so you can see it, kind of get it out of your mind, get it out of your thoughts, and put it on something tangible, you know, put it on paper that you can feel, and just release it and then go into action. So for me, I would say, yeah, just end vision, end goal, breaking it down into smaller goals, and then attacking it, you know, visualizing it, seeing it, feeling it, and kind of wearing that armored suit, putting it on before you actually get there. So that, for me, it's worked for me, and it's what I continue to do.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I think there's also a book and a movie on Netflix called The Secret, because a lot of people here are talking about, you know, manifestation, visualization, and all of that. So for anybody who's interested in learning it a little bit more, The Secret is a great book and also a movie on Netflix you can check out for that. Abena, how do you go about setting your goals?
Hey guys, yeah, so I wanted to echo both what Andrew and Aaron said too. So I'm like Aaron, I'd say set really aggressive goals. And I think it's really important to kind of make sure that you are being accountable and you're actually looking at the big picture and doing, you know, everything that you imagine or everything that you want to do. So I definitely like to set really aggressive goals. And then I also like to always go back and break down each goal to make sure that they're actually attainable. So what I usually do is, like Andrew, I write them down, and I also put it somewhere where I can see it every day. So whether that be like when I'm brushing my teeth, I might have it on my counter or in my bedroom. It might be on my dresser, just somewhere that I know that I can just read, my top 3 goals for that month every single day. And then it's always in the back of your mind. Whatever you're doing, you always have it. Again, I also set goals for kind of every part of my life. So I have different careers for my business, for my fitness, and most of the things that are important to me. And so doing that and revisiting for different aspects of your life is important, and it kind of makes you maintain this habit, and you kind of are ready to revisit at all times. So for example, I might set big goals for myself for the year, but then I have smaller ones that I set for the month. There might be ones that I set, in the morning just for what I want to do that day, and making sure that I'm accountable that way. And another thing that I'd say is being flexible. And what I mean by that is sometimes things change drastically and your goal may have to change. So I never stand like I have to do this exact thing. Sometimes it changes. COVID is a great example of that. A lot of things changed and were not possible the way that I wanted to. So I revisited and reimagined what that goal might look like from a different viewpoint.
Nice. Thank you so much. I just feel like you guys better have your pens and pencils out taking notes, because these guys are dropping gems. Like, take your notes, because these gems are everything. Thank you guys so much. We'll move over to Gavin. If you could just let us know how you set your goals.
Yeah, so for me, it was kind of different. More of like a long-term approach as a kid. My ultimate goal, I guess, dream was to be an Olympian. So for me, it came in stages. I knew I wanted to get to the NCAA, so I knew that for sure was realistic, more attainable for me. So I worked towards that. I was really disciplined enough, thank God, and stayed away from the McDonald's and stuff like that to to be able to train very hard without eating any junk food, and just focus on getting to the NCAA system, because I know once you get there, then it'll be going against those competitions, then being top in the nation would like better your chance of becoming an Olympian and be top in the world. So I knew that was a little bit more realistic for me to get to that point. And once I get to the finals of the NCAA, I knew from there it was more of a realistic goal for me to get to the Olympic Games. And I took the same approach I took from NCAA, going to Olympics to just do the necessary things to get to that point. So yeah, I mean, the timeline was a little bit longer than I expected, but you know what? Once I got to the 2012 Olympics, it was a dream came true, and and I even set another goal for myself at that point to come out with a medal. So it was, for me, it was stages along the way, setting my goals.
Amazing, amazing. I think it's pretty incredible that the goals you set for yourself are not average goals. Like being an Olympian,
You know what?
amazing goal.
I really can't say that it was something that I expected 100%, but I knew, once you work hard, you're disciplined enough, the chances would be a little bit greater for me. So, and then, I'm a little bit talented. I got a little Jamaican background, so who knows, right? So yeah.
Nice. I believe we have a question from the audience. And the question is, how do you keep your ego in check after achieving a goal? So maybe let's start off with Andrew.
I think ego is something that it could be a positive thing. It can also be a negative thing when going after your goals. So for me, I think that if you can release ego, where you have no judgment about yourself, no judgment about achieving your goals, you're so focused that ego isn't something that comes into play, even after achieving a goal. I think that you have to have a sort of a belief in going after your vision, and a belief in what you want to achieve, that once it's achieved, it's like you're just checking it off the list, right? So it's something that you can use it to fuel you, but at the same time, don't let it overpower you. Don't let it overcome you. Keep your head down and keep working. You know, just keep working. I think that's the best way to defeat ego. Obviously, you celebrate your winnings, you celebrate your achievements, but on to the next one. You know, achieve it, go after it, put ego aside, and just continue to work. I think working hard defeats ego, in my opinion.
Love that. Amazing. Erin, how do you go about, you know, maintaining your humility after you've exceeded the goals you've set for yourself?
So for me, I don't really focus too much on ego, because even as many things as I accomplish or I'm successful at, I still feel like I have so much more work to do and so many more things to achieve. So I feel like it's just more about gaining off that momentum of achieving your goals to push you further to now continue to challenge yourself, and also to take that that spirit, that energy that comes with achieving your goals and try to impact others. So maybe help to inspire someone else to accomplish their goal, or encourage someone else. So I think just kind of turning that into something positive and just always remaining humble, because, you know, at any moment, everything could all be taken away.
That's a fact. That is a fact. You could lose it as quickly as you gain it. So I love that. Thank you, Erin. Ebena, how do you go about, you know, maintaining your ego after you've exceeded a goal or reached it?
Yeah, so I echo kind of everything that the other panelists have said. I think it's about, you know, working hard and kind of checking it off, like Andrew mentioned, and moving on to the next one. For myself personally, I kind of always have a huge list of things that I want to do, and it's never really ending. And kind of once you are able to achieve one thing, you kind of unlock and open, you know, the possibility for so many other things. And so for me, it's just kind of keeping myself focused, looking forward, working hard, and creating those new goals as I go.
Very nice, very nice. And Gavin, we'll finish off this question with you. How do you go, like when you became an Olympian, how did you say, you know what, let me just humble myself and just keep on going for the next goal? How did you feel about that?
Well, that's the thing. It was crazy that you said that, because as I stepped in the Olympic Village, it really humbled me once I saw, like, you know, at the time, guys like Kobe Bryant and, you know, walking around, and, you know, obviously Usain Bolt. So that will humble you real quick, especially with Bolt, right? So, but yeah, the whole thing, for sure, is like, you know, you want to, you know, it was a glamorous thing to be at the Olympic Games. Whoop-de-doo. It's a great, don't get me wrong, it's a dream come true. But ultimately, when you see all these guys focus on getting a medal at the Olympic Games, then it just fuels you too as well to want to, you know, switch, you know what I mean, that focus to make sure that you're not dwelling on that one, you know, making that the Olympic Games. You know, you don't want to be a participant. You actually want to be someone that will stand out, and that's my approach I took once I got to the games. So I feel like in anything in life, you just want to make sure that, you know, you celebrate. Don't get me wrong, you celebrate that moment, and, you know, big up your chest 2 times and whatnot. But, you know, it's on to the next one. You can't dwell on it too much.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I could imagine what it's like making it to the Olympics and then seeing Usain Bolt, because it's like, yeah, I've reached one goal, but now there's a whole other feat.
Yeah, he'll humble you.
Yeah. So I guess I'll ask the final question for this panel. The question that I have for you guys is, going into 2021, we can all agree that 2020 has been challenging. And for many people, some may have reached their goals, but a lot of people didn't. So in that same kind of echo and that same tone, how do you guys overcome the challenges or the failures that you guys face along the way when you're unable to reach a goal? We can start off with Ebena.
Thanks. So the challenges, I think, you know, all of us have failed in something, and, you know, you might set a goal and you want to achieve it and you don't. One that sticks out at me particularly is, you know, things that I wanted to do in 2020. I wanted to expand to a bunch of cities, my business, and it just wasn't possible. It literally was not possible. And so what we did was, you know, we sat down. We weren't stuck up on, you know, we really wanted this for our 8-year anniversary, but it's not the way that things have worked out. And so we reimagined what we had to do, and we set new goals. And we set new goals that were just as aggressive And we kind of were flexible in our ability to adapt to what is going on in our lives, what's going on in the world right now, and just recreate and reimagine what we need to do and kind of keep that ahead, and kind of look to that for the future.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Anybody else want to answer? I'll allow one of you guys to answer that question. How you deal with challenges and failures? Whoever wants to take it.
Yeah. For me, for sure, like going to the Olympic Games 2012, we actually went into a position where we got a bronze medal, and we celebrated as if, we got the medal. And then 7 minutes later, we found out that we didn't get the medal. We actually got disqualified. So it was obviously the happiest moment in my life to like the worst moment in my life. So it was very tough pill to swallow for sure. Like it devastated me for a while. And then, with the support I got and just the knowing me, I use that negative energy to force me to get up and just, start training to get to that level again. And the following year, just using that same energy, I was even a better athlete myself, and sometimes when a situation like that happens, it just makes you into a better athlete. And then we end up actually winning a medal, at the World Championship in Moscow against the same competition. We're third back behind you both in the States. So that was a incredible feeling to actually get back to the podium, despite, what happened to us. We could have been down and some people have quit. Who knows what could have happened to everybody, but we actually stick together and we went back at it again, and we competed against the same group. And for me right now, my ultimate goal again is to get back to the Olympic Games, which hopefully happens in 2021, and get on that podium. So again, using that fuel again and to get me to that stage.
For sure. Well, we'll be waiting for you, rooting for Team Canada, and looking forward to seeing you guys on that podium. And Andrew, how do you go about overcoming challenges and failures and shortcomings when it comes to your goals?
I think that, I don't know, I think there's beauty in like challenges. There's beauty in obstacles and things that break you and put you down on your knees and put you in a position where you have to pick yourself up, you have to look up and continue to go. So like throughout my career, similar to what Gavin said, I've probably had a lot more failures than successes, right? But it's the failures for me that drive me, that fuel me, that allow me to just, you want to kind of better yourself, right? You want to get to a place where if you failed so many times and there's a lot of challenges in your way, it's like, how do I overcome it? What do I need to change? What do I need to do? Then the self-improvement comes into play. Like, do I need to train more, right? Do I need to watch more film? Do I need to, broaden my network and speak to more people? So I think that the challenges, embrace them. If anything, don't let it break you, embrace them. Take it on. If you need to speak to somebody, contact somebody. If you need to reach out to me, contact me. It doesn't matter, but embrace the challenges and use it to fuel you. Use it to get to the next stage in your life. So I think challenges, for me, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's all on your perspective and how you view it. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think we should use it to do better. Like, for example, this year with COVID, there's been a lot of challenges. But I'm seeing a lot of people starting businesses, a lot of people doing things that they've put on the back burner for years, but within the challenge, within the struggle, something beautiful is created. So embrace the challenges and just continue to move forward.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. I think that was extremely, extremely powerful, Andrew. There is beauty in adversity. It's an opportunity for change and improvement. So thank you for that. Aaron, if you could just answer the final question for us, which is, how do you overcome challenges and failures when you set your goals?
Most definitely. I think I'm a really firm believer that if you put in the work, the results have to follow. So personally, I try not to get too discouraged. If challenges arise, if something gets thrown off, if there's a failure, I think there's always so much to be learned from it and applied. Just to echo what everyone else was saying as well, just challenges really help make you stronger. And when you do actually end up succeeding, it feels so much better. You have more of a testimony, you have more of a story. So I think that people have to not, get discouraged so quickly. And sometimes it's a test of, how bad do you really want to achieve something? Are you going to keep, pivoting? Are you going to keep trying to go at your goal from different angles? And I think that's kind of what really separates successful people from everyone else.
I completely agree. I want to take the time to thank Abena, Aaron, Andrew, and Gavin for coming on here today and sharing your stories. Guys, please take advantage of this powerful platform and these incredible panelists and follow them on social media. We've been listing their handles throughout the whole conversation, but if for some reason you didn't get it, you can go to @the Skills for Life Inc. on Instagram, and all panelists have been tagged in the poster for this event. So make sure you go and you connect with them and you follow them. But moving on now, we're going to move on to the next section for our event, which is networking. I'm sure many of you guys have heard of the famous saying, your network determines your net worth. There is so much to be learned from your network. I personally use my network for opportunities, for mentorship, to be inspired, to be exposed to new opportunities, and to be challenged in ways that are going to grow me. So it's so important that we all surround ourselves with a strong network. So with that being said, please help me in welcoming my next set of guests, Monique Smith, who's a content creator and social media influencer, Shaq Hall, who's an entrepreneur, investor, and landlord, and Brittany Chris Santos, who's an author and mental health advocate. Welcome you all. Thank you for joining us. We will start over with Monique. Can you please share with us what you're currently doing for a living and any additional side hustles that you may have?
Yes. Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm Monique. I'm actually a fashion and content creator in Hamilton. So at the moment, I'm doing content creation for brands. I also do one-on-one social media mentoring, and I also do some styling as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Monique. And we'll move over to Shaq. Shaq Hall, what do you currently do? Side hustles, professional, the whole nine. What do you do?
I do a lot. You're what you call I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur. I do a lot in terms of creating side hustles, helping people tap into the financial markets. I'm a landlord as well too, so I own real estate properties, and I have multiple different businesses that I run virtually online, and some in person as well too. So
amazing, love it. Brittany, tell us a little bit about what you do professionally, as well as any side hustles that you may have going on.
Yeah, so I'm an author. I wrote my first book when I was 15 to inspire the youth. I'm all about helping kids and inspiring them to be their best selves. So yeah, I'm an author, try to help as many kids as possible. Recently, due to the pandemic, I teamed up with a card game called Stuck in the House. And it's all about helping people through the pandemic and getting people through this hard time. And yeah, that's what I've been focusing on and working on.
Wow, amazing. I find it so incredible that at 15, you're writing a book to help other people at 15. That's so impressive. So my next question, let's kick it off with Shaq. Why is networking so important to you?
I mean, you kind of set the tone already. Like, networking is very, very important because it opens doors for you. And I truly believe, through my life, I've noticed that my net worth was also increasing as I started to network with other individuals and actually collab and be, working with unity with other individuals, other entrepreneurs, other people who allowed more doors to open for me, and just learn from other people because we're in a social environment and it's tough with COVID-19 and everything going on. But, being able to connect with like-minded individuals actually pushes you up to another level. So network has been important to me because it's also increased my net worth, and it's allowed me to reach individuals that, allowed me to open doors for myself that wasn't able to be there if I didn't network, if I didn't start to open my mouth and start to talk to more individuals. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you for that. Brittany, over to you. Why do you find networking important?
I think it's so important to stay connected, and I find it's important to, especially like you said, due to the pandemic, COVID-19, people are disconnected right now. People are not motivated to work. People are not motivated to like stay hustling and motivated. So it's important that we stay connected, and maybe that's through social media, maybe that's through emailing or texting or calling someone. But networking means so many things. It could be helping advance your business, or it means helping stay connected to your family and friends, and staying connected during these really hard times. So yeah, it's really important to build your network, because I really believe you're not what you do, it's who you know. And the more people you know, the more further you can go in your career. So that's pretty much what I believe in.
Nice, nice. And it's so true. It's not what you know, but who you know. For anybody who works corporate, I can tell you guys, before they even send out a public posting, they've already asked internally who they know and who you can recommend for a job. So again, guys, get your networking game up. And we'll head over to Monique. Monique, why is networking important to you?
Hi. Sorry, you were cutting out there. So yeah, networking is super important, especially with building your brand. Like, it's all about who you know, just as Brittany said, because the different things that you can do, you want to have connections all over the world. Even especially now with COVID going on, the amount of people that I met through this whole pandemic is like insane, because everyone's online. You want to utilize this time as much as possible and make those connections and build those relationships as well.
Definitely, definitely. I've seen you blowing up on TikTok, Monique. Keep up the good work. So the next question that I have for the panelists, we'll start over with Brittany. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice when it comes to networking, what would that be?
I really believe it's like shoot your shots, because you never know what can happen. When I was younger, I was really scared to like reach out to people. I was scared to like tell people my story or what I'm doing. But I find now, as I'm older in my adult years, I feel like it's so important to like contact people, to not be afraid, to not be embarrassed and shy, and to use your voice and really reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. I feel like younger people especially are scared to reach out because they feel embarrassed. Oh, will this person write back to me? Will they like what I'm doing? But just shoot your shots. Just keep the opportunities going. It's so important.
Definitely, definitely. I seen that Michael had posted in the public chat there that you are an average of the 7 people that you hang out with. So choose your network wisely. I completely agree with that. So thank you for sharing that, Michael. So now we're going to go over to Shaq. Shaq, how did you get into networking? What tools and avenues did you use to get yourself started? Like, what are some of your networking strategies?
Okay, so for me, networking, honestly, I got into it, playing sports and, just meeting other individuals. And I understood that for me, I couldn't be comfortable in order to grow, right? They always say, your comfort zone is your broke zone. Your comfort zone actually limits you. It creates bars around you. And like what Michael said too, you are the average of the 7 people that you surround yourself with. So for me, and as I started to develop, as I started to grow, as an individual, I realized, some of the people who I hang around with wasn't it for me. And I wanted to grow my income level. So I started to reach out to different people, started putting myself out there, started speaking more, started getting literally outside of my comfort zone, things that made me super uncomfortable. I knew that was going to grow me. So I started doing all those type of stuff and reaching out to individuals who I wanted to be like, right? They say, you follow people who are highly successful, who have everything that you want in life, and you do what they do, you get what they get. So for me, I was just following a lot of highly successful people, and then some success started to follow in my life as well too. So to be honest with you, it was just literally networking. It mainly started in university, joining clubs and being a part of different associations, and really getting outside my comfort zone and talking to people that don't look nothing like me, that don't come from the same background as me, but just talking to these individuals, because you never know who you may come in contact with.
Thank you for that, Shaq. I think there's a lot of key things that you pointed out there. And I love the fact that you said your comfort zone is your broke zone. If you're comfortable and you're not pushing yourself, you're just staying in the same place. And we're not trying to do that in 2021. So I encourage everybody to go out and to start networking, which leads me to my next question for Monique. How do you continue to network safely during COVID 2019? I know as an influencer, you used to attend a lot of networking events, do all these nice, glamorous events. But now that you can't do that as much, how have you kind of been staying connected and kind of, networking online?
So when I first started networking, I actually started a couple years ago, and I started going to different fashion events in Toronto. So with the fashion industry, it's definitely important with who you know and what you know as well. So I started going to these events with different friends, and then I noticed that I just wanted to pursue by myself. So I even went to those events by myself, and I had to just bring up the courage to talk to people and just get to know people. Even if you're afraid to even send a message or slide in the DMs or saying anything to people, just honestly do it, because you never know who you're going to meet. And you really want to build those connections, especially when you're growing your business, your network, everything, your accounts. Like, this is the time to use that and utilize all these techniques and strategies people have. So definitely just don't be afraid to hear the word no. The worst that they can say is no anyway. So yeah.
That's true. And I love that Monique is a woman of her word, because she's here today because I had posted that I was hosting this amazing event, and she slid into my DM. She's like, yo, I need to be a part of this. And I was like, yeah, shoot them a message right now. So she's definitely in the DMs. She's definitely taking action, and it's a true testament because she's here today. So kudos to you, Monique, for that. The next question that I have is going to be for Brittany. Can you share any experience you have in networking that went well? And what didn't go well? How did you adjust?
So for something that went well with networking, I find I'm really good at like sharing my story with people and like reaching out to people. I've always found that like I'll just like slide in the DMs or send an email, and one of my friends told me like, how do you get responses from people? And I feel like the thing that I do the most is just like really target myself to like, who am I talking to? What are they interested in? How can they value out of what I'm trying to say? And how can I value out of them? And I find that like I share my story. I'm very authentic and humble, and that's a really important thing to do. Just like build connections, build friendships, build long-term friendships, short-term friendships, and just don't be afraid to reach out to people and tell them what you want, how they can benefit from you, or just being friends and just having that connection. And then I guess bad things that went well in the industry or networking is, I guess, the same thing as like networking with the wrong people, the people that are going to bring you down, because I find the most important thing is to surround yourself with really positive people and people that are going to bring you to the right place. But sometimes in our mind, we feel like this person exactly is going to help us get further in our career, in our lives, and they don't. So they actually end up bringing you down, and you can't trust them, or they do something really shady in your career, or you can't trust them. So that's like the negative thing that's happened before, is you think you're going to trust someone and you can't. So you always got to like have your guards up, but also not be afraid to like reach out and see what's going to happen, because you never know what's really going to happen. You got to trust the process and trust yourself and trust your story.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Shaq, I'm going to bring it over to you. If you had to share 3 tips for anybody who wants to venture out and start networking, what would you say to them?
Wow, that's tough. 3 tips. 1, get out of your comfort zone. For sure. You have to get out of your comfort zone because, like, I mentioned before, like you echoed as well, in order to grow, you got to do something that's super uncomfortable. And if you're not growing, they say you're dying, right? So nobody wants to stay stagnant, especially in 2021, brand new year. You got to get outside of your comfort zone and really go after whatever you want. We talked about SMART goals. Start to have your SMART goals. Start to get a plan. Start to get a calendar and go after whatever you desire. So get outside of your comfort zone. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is provide value, right? Understand when it comes to networking, nobody wants to be a person who they're just taking, right? You got to be able to give value as well, too. And it's easier to network when you have some type of value. People want to reach out to you as well, too. So instead of being the hunter, you'll become the hunted. So make sure you're providing value on any streams of social media and anywhere, especially now, you got to utilize social media. So provide as much value as possible, no matter what. And, people will start to come to you as well, too, in that networking relationship. And I truly believe the best relationships are a give-take relationship as well, too. So that's number 2, provide value. Number 3 is communicate often. Right now, COVID-19 has been tough. I don't know if it's going to be COVID-21. This world has changed a lot. So you got to keep communication with people. I understand you got to check up on people because a lot of people are going through some mental health issues. A lot of people are depressed. A lot of people are trying to figure things out. Some people have been laid off. Some are waiting for CERB checks. Like a lot of people are going through it right now. So you got to be able to be a person that people can lean on. Be somebody that you can, kind of have conversation with and build solid networks, right? So for me, I was able to do that and, create a strong relationship and a team of over 100 plus all around the world, literally just by communicating. And I truly believe our world is so small right now, online, being able to communicate with anybody around the world in seconds. So those are 3 steps.
That's amazing. Great tips. I hope you guys are taking notes because, again, gems on gems on gems on gems, guys. This is value. Take notes, pay attention. Again, if you guys are taking notes, please. So, Monique, what is something that has held you back from networking and how did you get over it?
Definitely.
So, were you ever shy at a point in your time in your life? Were you ever in a room where you felt intimidated? Did you ever have imposter syndrome? Any of those things, and how did you overcome it?
Definitely the key ingredient to building your brand and business, I would say, is be yourself. Like in the past, especially like high school, you're kind of going through all these different phases of who you are. You're not too sure. You're following the crowd. You're following different friends. And then once I realized, okay, this is what I want to do. This is who I am. Like, that's when I just blew my whole brand. And I was like, I'm just going to be myself, show my personality. And that's how I got the biggest growth in my career. So the key message, I would definitely say be yourself. In the past, I definitely have, you try to act like everybody else, do what people are doing, but just don't even copy people. Just do what you need to do and you'll succeed and you'll grow super far.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving on to the next session of our itinerary, I just want to pull over Brittany to the side for a quick chat. And Brittany, I wanted to chat with you specifically because I know you have overcome some mental health issues. And I think given the year that we've had in 2020, it's important for us to pick your brain because you might be able to help somebody else who's going through the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
If you could just tell us a little bit about your story, just so we can hear a little bit about what you went through.
Yeah, so like I said before, when I was 15, I was going through really bad mental health issues. I was in high school. I had all these friends around me, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fully happy inside, outside. So I became depressed, really depressed, anxiety to like the next level. And I had all these like suicidal thoughts and things that I had, and I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't know what to do with my life or how to get help. And so it came to a point where it became really bad. And that was the driving point where I said I had to change my life around. I need to find a way to be happy, to be on a better path. And so that's when I became really obsessed with self-help, healing myself, finding a way to get out of this really big funk. So that's when I wrote my first book years ago. It's called I'm Not Your Average Teen. And it was really about being not average because at the time I felt like I wasn't average. I felt like I was the only one going through this. And it's really important talking about mental health that we speak up and say that we're not the only ones going through this. There are people going through this. And I didn't realize the book was going to become like bestseller or people would like it. But the amazing point of that was I realized there was other teenagers going through that. I had messages and emails and people telling me that they bought my book and they are going through the same things, that they want to end their life, but they realize that there's so much more to live on. And I guess after that, that was my driving point to realize that I need to make a difference. I need to help these teens because if I can save one life, if I can help one person, then it's like helping myself as a younger person. And so talking about like the pandemic, COVID-19, mental health has become really worse. And I know that if I was 15 at the time and I had a pandemic like this, it would have been way worse. There's no words to explain the pain and the struggles that a lot of kids are going through. Not let alone like adults and people and everyone in the world are going through mental health issues because we really don't know what's happening. The pandemic has brought up a lot of emotions, and for us, we feel alone, we feel isolated, we can't see our family, we can't see our friends, we can't even hug someone without wearing a mask. We can't even go in a store without wearing a mask. Life has changed completely. And I want to speak on the fact that it's so important that we raise awareness, we tell these kids that they're not alone, and now more than ever, we create an environment and a community, and we really open our arms, well, our phones, I guess, because we can't, and really tell these kids that they're not alone. If they're going through something, that they're struggling and they're scared to reach out, because the suicide rate has gone up so much due to the pandemic. And now more than ever, like I said, it's so important to really help these kids because there really is, it's a really hard time for them.
100%. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I guess for people who want to lend out a helping hand, what advice would you have? Like, how can we go about helping somebody who's going through mental health issues? Like, what are some steps that we can take?
But before we're talking about networking and using your social media platforms, now more than ever, it's so important to use your social media platforms, to be on Instagram, to be on Facebook, Twitter, anything that works, to use your social media platform to raise awareness, to tell people, hey, if you're struggling, hit me up, and to really open your platform for that, because ever since even COVID for me, like I found out people in my family and my friends were going through mental health that I never knew before. And that's also why I teamed up with this new cards game. It's the first ever pandemic card game edition. It's called Stuck in the House. And I played it for the first time with my family on Christmas. And it really brought realization to my life, realizing that we got to come together as a family, as a group, and we got to be there for each other. It was fun. It was funny. There was funny card games in it. Like, it was just amazing to see people come together and learn more about yourself and learn more about your sister, your siblings, your parents that you never knew about yourself, which is really important. Why I felt to team up and partner with this team, this card game. But even if it's not doing games, just being together, spending time with your friends, your family, when lockdown is not happening anymore and you can social distance, get together with friends you haven't seen in a while and ask them how they're doing. Be very open. Don't be introverted, because a lot of people are hiding right now. They're isolated. They're not reaching out. Even me and my boyfriend talked about it. We need to reach out to people. We need to let people know that we're here, that talk to us. Don't be afraid to call us up. Just be very open and extroverted, very out there kind of thing.
Okay, thank you so much. I think those are some great tips. You did mention the board game that you talked about, Stuck in the House. Where can people find it?
It's actually really early right now, so it's coming out in early February, but you can pre-order on inhousegames.com. You get a pre-order. Yeah.
Sweet. And where can people find you? Like, if people wanted to connect with you, do you have a blog, or are you just on Instagram? Like, where can people find you?
People can find me on my website, britcrisantos.com, or my Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. I'm very open. My name is my stuff.
Sweet. Thank you so much. I'm already seeing people in the chat saying that they're going to look up that game. Thank you so much, Brittany, for having this quick chat with us. We appreciate your time and you shedding some light on mental health. Thank you so much. Before we move on, again, I wanted to thank the last set of panelists that we had, which was Monique Smith, Shaq Hall, and Brittany Crisantos. Thank you all for your time. We really, really appreciate you guys for everything that you shared with us. We're living our best lives and we have a lot to be smiling about. So even though it's been a tasking year, there's still a lot for us to look forward to, including our next round of panelists. So as we move into the next section, which is Life with Tech, I'm excited to bring out the next set of guests, which is Ashley Wright, the founder of the Wright Success in Crypto Mentor. We also have Jalen Nelson, who's a stylist, fashion influencer. And last but not least, we have Randy Osei, who's the founder of Rose Management and Athlete Technology Group. Welcome.
Hello. Hope everybody's well.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Wow, this guy is swaggy. Son.
Have you tried? Thank you, man. Thank you.
So I want to welcome you all today and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to have a quick chat with us. And we're just going to jump right into it. I wanted to learn a little bit more about what you guys are really into. So what do you do for a living, as well as any side hustles that you may have? Randy, if you could please start us off.
For sure. Well, one, I want to welcome everybody and thanks for having me. It's great to see that we've made it through probably the craziest year ever. And we're about to embark on another year. I'm Randy Osei. I'm an entrepreneur from the Greater Toronto area. I've built a creative marketing and branding agency called Rose Management, a nonprofit called Return to Love Community Support, and a new company that launched as kind of my COVID solution, the Athlete Technology Group, which is a media and events company that connects athlete and tech entrepreneurs together. So have my hands in a lot of things, but will always make time for my community because I understand the impact that it has on those coming after us.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Randy, for telling us a little bit about what you do. It seems like you have a lot going on, which is good. Busy is good. Moving on over to Jalen. Jalen, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. I'm actually super excited to be here. This is super awesome. And yes, for those of you who don't know, my Instagram is Lick My Fashion. Pretty much I built this brand maybe about, I would say maybe starting about 5 years ago. The whole purpose of this brand was to kind of make everybody stick true to their, their style and really just embrace who they are as an individual. I feel like a lot of the times in the generation, we are so caught up with what other people think and how they see us when we wear clothes, but I want to kind of break that narrative and break that standard. So that was pretty much what I've done. I've then went from, pretty much dressing myself to dressing other people. So I'm also a stylist as well. I love styling. Styling is my heart. It's my home. And I love styling just because, again, it really makes me put myself out of the box when it comes to different, people, just different genres, different eras. And I went from styling, and I'm still styling now. And then I now also am an educator. So I actually sell ebooks, I sell courses, and I just, motivate people and hustle people to just really, go hard with their grind and just continue to move forward. So that's pretty much what I'm about.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Jalen, for letting us know about what you do.
No
and
problem.
last but not least, Ashley, let us know a little bit about what you do. Ashley, I think you might be on mute. You can hear me okay?
That's got to be the saying of 2020. That's got to be the line, yo, hey, you're on mute.
I think she's back now. We can hear her, though. Ashley, go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. But yes, a little bit about myself. My name is Ashley Wright, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a motivational speaker. I also do personal development coaching. So I'm really, really passionate about helping people become the best version of themselves. And I'm also in the technology space. So I don't know if anybody's heard of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I actually educate and teach people about how to get into cryptocurrency as well. So I'm really passionate about both of those two areas, but anything that has to do with helping people, that's what I'm about.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. I guess moving right into things, guys. Seeing as right now we're all stuck inside the house, it's really hard to go outside and navigate those spaces. So now it's almost like we have to rely on technology. So I'm really interested in picking your brains and knowing how you guys use social media to be more than just a social platform. So Jalen, let us know how you have used social media to either make you money or to expand your network or your reach. And again, let's just try to keep our answers short and precise just because we do have an extensive itinerary left over. So just again, if we keep our answers to less than a minute, that would be fantastic.
Okay, awesome. So basically, as you guys know, again, you're forced to stay in the house. That's quarantine. You can't go anywhere. So pretty much what I did to utilize my platform was I just started to hustle and actually motivate other people to kind of, really just expand their dreams and really do what they love to do. And that's pretty much how I kind of really expanded onto that. And before, I never really thought about doing that, but I realized I had a voice and people really like that voice. So I kind of just started really just drafting up courses and ebooks to kind of just really motivate and actually get people to really just, chase their dream and trace their goal, especially during a time of the pandemic. It's a lot. We could be, stressful. There can be a lot going on, but I think that's pretty much how I kind of pretty much made that to just, make money and do other things because I felt like I had to come outside of the box and be creative. So it was definitely the courses and teaching classes, fashion classes, having textbooks, really just a lot of teaching towards my platform and the audience. So that's pretty much how I, utilize that to make money.
I love that. I love it, love it, love it. I love the idea of courses because, again, it's a moneymaker and you're also teaching other people stuff. So that's awesome. I also noticed that you're doing a lot of lives on your platform, which is a great way to engage and expand your network and get personal with your audience. Randy, how are you using your social media, or how have you used your social media in the past to kind of use it for more than just the regular social media platform that it is?
Yeah, I use social and technology to stay connected. If you understand technology, you understand how the world works. Tech is relevancy. I think the big thing for me is just staying connected, having conversation, dialogue about different things that are happening. I've been someone that's always enjoyed telling stories. So that's one of the big things that I use my social for. So one of the things that I really enjoy is creating content, and I'll put together whatever just because I enjoy telling things from my own angle, whether it's recreating something that some athletes are doing, or poking fun at something that happened in the world. I think social media just allows us to stay connected and allows us to keep us entertained and build our network. So that's really what I use my social for, is to really just entertain and sometimes educate people as well. I really like putting up quotes and books that I'm reading, and hopefully, some of the words and things that I hear, it also shares with other people as well.
Amazing. So what book are you currently reading right now?
The Way of the Superior Man by David Dieta. I believe that's his last name. But it's one chapter a day. It's literally 2 pages per chapter. It's a great read, great reminder. Talks about how to live your fullest self and live a purposeful life as a man, and not allowing people to distract you from your destiny and your journey.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Ashley, how do you use your social media for more than just social?
Definitely. To be honest, like before I had my business, I of course had my Instagram and my different social media accounts specifically for business. For personal. But then afterwards, I realized that whether you have a business or not, you're building your brand, right? People know you for something, right? And you have a reputation, whether you're actively, building it or not. And then, I became a business owner, and I realized, wow, social media is a great tool for business also. But I mean, for people that are especially starting out, starting to create their own brand, right? Regardless if you have a business or not, you can really use this to really shape your branding, what you want people to know about you, right? And it's a great way to also connect with people and find opportunities as well. So I know there was a panel on networking. Social media is amazing for networking. Like my favorite is LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys are using it, but it's phenomenal, right? And same thing with Instagram. Like you're able to connect with people from all over the world, depending on what industry you're in or what industry you're looking to get involved in. It's a great way for you to be able to connect with people and also establish your brand as well.
Definitely, definitely. Ashley, I'm going to throw another question over at you. Seeing as a lot of us right now, we're spending a lot of time on our phones, what tips do you have for youth to make their phones work for them? So I know you touched a bit on that right now, but if you could just dive in a little bit deeper in terms of how you could really just use their phones to really maximize and make the most of it.
Yeah, definitely. I see Timmy's on LinkedIn. Yes, make sure you add me. I'm gonna add you back. But yes, like I said, there's so many different resources. So especially if you're thinking about an industry that you're looking to get in, I'll use LinkedIn as an example. You can actually start looking for people that are in this space that you're looking to get involved in, right? So whether it's something in science or the arts or whatever industry it is, you're able to at least connect with people in that space, potentially, even find a mentor that way and have someone that's actually going to teach you and guide you, right? Instagram, for example, is another great way to find people. Like one of my mentors I actually connected with him through Instagram, right? And just literally going through and looking at different people that are in different spaces, I was able to have that conversation, introduce myself, let them know who I am, what I'm looking for, what my dreams and my goals are. And if it aligns, then we're able to connect and work together. So there's lots of different ways to connect.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Brilliant answer, Ashley. Thank you for that. Jalen, I have a question for you. Seeing as you're a fashionista, social media famous, all of that good stuff, how do you find the balance? How do you ensure that you don't get consumed with YouTube and Instagram? Because once you're on your phone, it's so easy to get into the dark hole and get trapped. So how do you kind of set the times to like, okay, this is work time and this is play time and this is like blackout time, like come off now?
So the thing that I really understand is that consistency is very, very important. And it's really, really important to me. I find that, again, like you said, we can get so consumed in our phones and you're on Instagram and then all of a sudden you're on there for 3 hours. Like you can get so caught up. So pretty much I have a timer on my phone. And I pretty much if I'm on the app too long, it will just kind of tell me like, Jalen, you're on the app too long. Like it will tell me, okay, you only have 20 minutes left. Or, okay, you only have 10 minutes left. I kind of time myself just because I don't want to get myself consumed in the wrong things. So I always have like an alarm set. Okay, like this is the time that you have, or I'll have a little bit of breaks in here and there. And I think the real reason why I stay consistent is because I just want to get it. That's just what it is. I want to motivate the world. I want to, inspire the world. I want to inspire a lot of individuals. So right now is not the time to slack, like at all. And that's especially what 2020 has made me understand, that it is just not the time to slack. Like you need to actually start now. Like now is the time to start to network. Now is the time to start to work really hard on your brand. Now is the time to really start going hard in what you want to do in this life, right? So I think that's pretty much how I kind of keep myself in vision, just understanding like where I need to go, the vision, the process, and understanding, okay, Jalen, like if you sit here and spend 3 hours watching Netflix versus working on your brand, how is that going to, defer you in the future, right? So I always have those questions in my mind when I feel like I'm consuming too much or consuming just a little bit more than I should be.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's so important to have time frames, because I'm telling you, every time I get on YouTube, I'm trapped in there for hours at a time.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to take your advice on, setting those alarms. And speaking of YouTube, for those of you guys who are tuning in from our YouTube channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the Skills for Life channel. Again, lots of great content for you guys to look forward to. So just don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And Randy, another question for you. How have you grown your brand over the years?
Yeah, you know what? I've never really focused on growing brand. I've always focused on being Randy. And, being Randy is serious, as a serious person, is a person that's very silly, a person that is very endearing. I just find different ways to be my truest self. And in doing that, it comes out in different ways, whether it's a story post, a brand partnership, an event that we've done, an endorsement that we've done. Like, my work is my brand. So I literally just work, and sometimes I'll stop and like, you know what, I feel like sharing this with the world. And to me, that's how I've built my brand, is just being me and finding different ways to share it, and I think right now, because we're in this digital world, and it's been, fast forwarded 3 to 5 years by 7 months, people are trying to find ways to stay relevant. And, I think the best way to stay relevant is just staying true to yourself. So if you're someone that likes to read, just talk about reading. If you're someone that likes to write poetry, talk about poetry. What we're going to see now with this digital transformation is the growth of digital communities. So the same way people have built book clubs because people just like to read, we need to build that digitally. The same way people like to get together and go for runs, you need to build that digitally, right? Like we have Zoom workout classes. There's people that are coming together from a digital standpoint. So the best way, I think, and I'll continue to say this, is just be yourself. Like, I can read, like, remember when Instagram was big and the people with tons of followers got all the brand deals but had 10 comments? This is not real. Like, people want to engage with things that are real. Micro influencers are a lot more important to brands and groups in the world, because that community that they've built is organic. And the best way to me is just being your truest self, because we can all see through it. Like, we all look at our screens more than 4 hours per day. That came out this year. Last year it was about 2 hours. Now it's 4 hours. I guarantee at the end of 2021 it's going to be 6.5, 8 hours. So what are you looking at? And it's important that as a young and talented group of people in this generation, we're paying attention to our diet. And when I say diet, it's not just the things that we eat. It's the things that we're watching, the things that we're consuming. Like, sitting on Shade Room or Six Buzz all day, like, that's not a form of educating yourself, right? Follow the Gary V's, follow the Chris Thompsons, follow the Jalen's, follow the Ashleys. These are people that are doing things that you can do by just following.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to make money. Why are people making it so difficult these days? And that brand growth, as organic as it can be, will allow people to just be themselves, and that organic growth will allow you to create what's called media marketplaces. And is when you bring tons of people together and find different ways to gain revenue. So that's what I would share.
I think you shared a lot of gems in that. One that I just kind of wanted to grab a little bit more and bring you back to is you talked about brand deals. So for anybody that's in the audience right now that has been building a brand and wants to secure some brand deals and collaborations, what tips do you have for them?
Oh man, that is a great question that happens often. I think in working with brands and, you know, brands, the word influencer is not a real word, right? Like, how do you really quantify influence? Like, Jalen has a lot of followers. How do you quantify influence? Does that mean Jalen can influence a basketball crowd? No, just because he has a lot of followers. What is Jalen's audience speaking to? They look at clothes. So Jalen's audience and his market is people that enjoy clothing and style and culture. So that's who Jalen should be talking to as a person of influence in that space. It doesn't mean he's an influencer. He's just a person that has an audience that likes the same things that he does. He's built a digital community, and it's the same thing that I'm talking about. So in and around building that organic growth and that organic following, you also need to also understand and educate yourself on how these partnerships work. A lot of brands will work with you and give you stuff for free, and that's your payment. If you're smart and understand leverage, you work with that and get to a point where you say, you know what, no, it's $100 for a story post. And the brand will be like, but why? You only have 2,000 followers, but look how engaged my community is, right? But you need to be able to have that information so you can present it to the world. If you don't have it, you can't speak to it.
Right.
So just being able to have tons of followers and no one likes anything, no one shares your stuff, no one saves it, you don't have an audience. You have people that have clicked it, but no one engages with your stuff. So
Right.
that organic reach through that, or organic growth through a little bit of understanding leverage in the business world, anyone can make a couple of dollars. Good friends of mine, Jay and Trey, amazing creators. They built an audience because they are funny. They're just funny. They're literally just funny. But now they've understood the business a little bit that, hey, people want to speak to their audience. Pay us and we'll tell your brand story our way to your audience. Look at what they just did with McDonald's. Look at what they just did with Squarespace. That's all they're doing. They've built this marketplace that people can come and get different things from you, whether you want to listen to their podcast, whether you want to buy their merch, whether you want to watch their skits. You're going to engage with Jay and Trey in 1 or 5 or all of those verticals. Which brand wants to pay for it? So becoming an influencer or a person of influence or a person that built an audience is not hard. You just got to understand your audience and ensure that your audience actually engages with you.
Right. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much, Randy, for all those gems that you dropped. Now, speaking of collaborations, Jalen, I've been following you for about 8 years now. So I got to ask you, because a couple years back, you secured a collaboration with the Tyra Banks.
Yes.
So we got to talk about that. How did that go? How did that come to be? How did you put yourself out there where Tyra was willing to work with you or willing to even open your email and say, yes, I'll respond and take this on? Like, how did you do that? How did you make that happen?
So basically, it was actually at a time where I was depressed. That's the real gag. I was actually depressed at this time. And I was just getting back into styling because I'm not going to say I quit, but I kind of took a break because I felt like it wasn't getting anywhere for me. But the one thing about me is I just keep going. You know, even if I don't see it right now, I will still keep going. So what I did was I'm like, you know what, Jalen, we're going to give this another try. Like, we're going to really go hard with this. And this was a time when I was just not feeling my greatest, wasn't feeling good at all. And obviously from an audience's point of view, they're thinking everything is going well because they see the following, they see the comments. But in my head, I'm like, I'm feeling down, right? So it's like, how do I kind of maneuver that and still kind of secure these collaborations or partnerships? So in 2018, I just went really hard. Like, I was styling like every other day, if that every other week, like whatever. I was styling all the time. And my favorite stylist, one of my favorite stylists, his name is Jay Bolin. Jay Bolin, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a Christian stylist, now has a brand. He had come down to Toronto and he had said, you know, I'm looking for a stylist to really help me with this collaboration. But I didn't know it was Tyra. I had no idea. And at first I was like, I'm not doing this because I'm over it. My friend's like, no, like, go do it. So I sent him a DM and I said, hey, you're looking for like a stylist to help style somebody. Like, I'm available, whatever. And he messaged me back probably within like the hour. And he's like, I love your work. like, come to the hotel at this time, tomorrow at this time, whatever. So I get to the hotel. And he was just like, okay, so I'm just gonna let you know what's going on. So you're gonna be styling somebody named Tyra. Do you know who Tyra Banks is? And I said, Tyra Banks? I'm like, you mean Tyra Banks, the one on TV, like that Tyra Banks? He's like, yeah, like we're gonna be styling her today. Like that's who we're styling today for the MMVAs, for the AMAs, sorry. And I'm like, okay, but in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. But obviously, I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs in my head because I'm like, what the heck? Like I've never really styled a celebrity like that in my life, right? So we basically picked out about 10 looks for her, like about 10 looks. We brought it up to her room, brought it upstairs to her room. And she like knew everybody's name. Like she knew my name, and there was like a couple of other stylists there. She was like, oh, like you're Jalen, right? And I said, yeah, that's me. So that's how it pretty much went down. And we pretty much gave her the clothes, and she tried on a bunch of looks, and she really liked a couple of looks. So she got ready. We went downstairs. We took pictures with her. We took pictures of her for the event, and then she pretty much left. Like she went to the AMAs, and then there was a little bit of a malfunction, so we had to drive to go get something and then bring it to the AMAs. So it was a really good experience because I actually got to feel for how you style a celebrity and how they are, and how I can actually see how they are just going forward for the next collaborations that I have. But it was actually a very, very amazing experience. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was awesome. The vibes were amazing. Everything was great.
Amazing. Cheers to you and all the accomplishments and the opportunities that you've had. I wish you more as we get ready for 2021. To wrap up this chat and this level of panelists, I'm going to finish the last one with Ashley. Ashley, if you can just let us know some of the successes that you've had in 2020 and how you've used tech to leverage some of those.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, Jalen, congrats. Like that is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But yes, like honestly, 2020 has actually been, aside from everything that's been going on with the pandemic, but in terms of my business, things have actually been amazing. I've been doing a lot of course, in-person workshops back in 2019, prior to the pandemic. But of course, I had to really pivot because of everything, and I've made a transition doing a lot of my classes online. But I've been able to get amazing results with it. And a lot of the classes I've been doing is more so in terms of the cryptocurrency, educating people in that space. But it really was able to take off, as well as the motivational speaking aspect. I've been able to really speak at tons of different events throughout the GTA, as well as internationally. Of course, everything's online, but you're still able to connect. So I was able to still be able to, inspire people, motivate people from all over, made some new connections, in the UK and Nigeria, in Africa as well. So it's been amazing. But I'm already excited for 2021. And, right now I'm in the process of preparing for my private coaching seminar that I'm doing, launching in January. And it's already been going amazing already. So I'm really, really excited. But I think a lot of it really just goes back to perspective as well, because I think if you have a positive outlook, you also attract positive opportunities. And I think that's the mindset that I really, maintained throughout 2020. And that's how I've been able to really, get a lot of the success that I was able to get. But I think that's also something people should keep in mind for the new year as well.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I completely agree with you. Your mindset is absolutely everything. I follow you on Instagram. I've seen that you've been doing a lot of rebranding. I'm loving the content that you're putting out. So keep it up, keep the consistency, keep the professionalism going. Absolutely, absolutely love it. So I just want to take the time to thank Ashley for joining us. Randy, thank you so much. And Jalen, everybody, please don't forget to follow them. If you did not get their handles here in the chat, you could always go to the poster that we have for this event, because all the participants have been tagged on that poster. So make sure you connect with them. And again, don't forget to follow Skills for Life Inc. on Instagram. If you're tuning in from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much to, again, Ashley, Jalen, and Randy. Now, we're moving on to the next section of our itinerary, which is overcoming obstacles. So please help me in welcoming Justin Alman, which is the founder of Dream Chasers and basketball trainer. Jasminder Sekhan, who's a feminist and alumni of Oxford studying international law. And then Wali Shah, welcoming him back, the poet and philanthropist. Welcome them back. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all so much for joining us once again. Justin, can you please tell us what you do for a living along with any side hustles that you might have?
Hi, first I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I feel like this is a great event that you guys have put on. I've been watching it from the beginning, and all the speakers had definitely great insight. So I've learned a lot just by sitting here and watching the others. So what I do is I have a basketball training business, and it's a year-round training business that I have here in the GTA. I also do a basketball agency that I just previously started, and I'm an author as well. So it's a couple of different things that I've dipped my hands into, and I want to just continue to inspire the youth and push the next generation.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. Thank you, Justin. Pretty impressive resume that you have there. Can I please also have Jasminder let us know what you do for a living, as well as any side hustles that you may have? Again, just for the sake of time, guys, let's try to keep our answers to a minute or less.
For sure. Firstly, I also want to start off by saying thank you so much for having me here. I've also been listening in, and everybody's been brilliant so far. So I'm very excited, and I'm excited to be on this panel of such established and intelligent people. I am actually a gender-based violence expert. I specialize in human trafficking specifically and honor-based violence. So I do a lot of public speaking. I train a lot of different service providers, like social workers, police, like anybody that's potentially interacting with these groups. I do different trainings. So I work full-time for victim services. I'm also a professor at Sioux College for a human trafficking course. And then I am also a consultant. And I'm currently starting up my own consultancy as well on diversity, equity, and inclusion in workplaces, and how to ensure that we are able to have all of these different ways that people could potentially be oppressed, ensure that those marginalities or those different marginalizations don't impact, their success. So that's an overview of what I do.
Wow, very, very, very impressive. Again, I've said this to almost every guest, but I'm just like, do we have the same 24 hours? Because you guys are doing so many amazing things, and just the resumes I've been hearing today have just been absolutely, absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you again, Jasminder, for sharing your life with us and what you're up to. Wally, Justin, we can just, sorry, Wally, let's just go into what you do for a living. I know we had you a little bit earlier, but just in case other people tuned in after you went earlier, if you could just tell us what you do for a living and any side hustles that you might have going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys. My name is Wally Shaw, and I'm super excited to be a part of this panel with some amazing people. Jazz, I've known for many years as we went to UTM together, and Justin, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I'm looking forward to this, and my story is I do public speaking and spoken word poetry, and I've been fortunate enough to really make my career as an artist and a poet a full-time thing. And for the last couple of years, I've gotten the chance to travel all over Canada, all over the world as a performer. I've gotten the chance to perform with people like President Barack Obama. And, right now I'm working on my first book as well. So lots of great things happening, and I'm excited to be part of this panel.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Again, for you, very impressive. And again, guys, I just followed him on Instagram. He has that blue check mark. So if you guys haven't followed any of the panelists that we have, please, again, you could see their handles there. Please tag them, connect with them, because again, these are some pretty amazing individuals. Jasminder, we're going to bring the first question over to you. If you could please answer and help us by sharing your insight and your knowledge on how you stay focused, because you do have a lot going on. How do you stay focused with everything and balance everything that you have going on?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like one of the questions I always get asked is, how do you stay focused? How do you stay motivated? And I think the thing that I really want to emphasize to everybody here today is it's not about motivation. You're not going to feel motivated every day. You're not going to feel focused every day. That's just life. And my biggest key would be consistency, being consistent with what your goals are, setting those goals and showing up. And I would say showing up every day, but guys, we can take breaks. Like, we can chill out sometimes too. We can, show up almost 100% of the time, and take care of yourself as you're doing it. That I think is the biggest key. So there's one of my favorite quotes is, "The secret of your success is found in your daily routine," by John Maxwell. And I think that's a really, really important gem there, because when you're able to set a goal for yourself, and then you're able to break down that goal by What do I have to do every month? What do I have to do every week? What do I have to do every day in order to get there? That is what's going to make you successful. It's not going to be every day I wake up in my bed and I'm like, oh, I'm so motivated today. You know, it's that process, and it's that staying consistent. And what do I do every single day that contributes towards my larger goals? So for me, you know, my main goal is eradicating gender-based violence, right? That's a huge goal, but what am I going to do every day? Who can I educate? How can I ensure that people are getting the best services possible? How can I make sure that people are getting the support that they need, right? These are the things that are in my control, and different ways that I'm able to show up every single day and I'm able to provide that support. So that would be my main you know, thing that I would recommend to everybody. Don't feel like you have to be motivated every single day. However, show up for your goals and stay consistent.
Amazing, amazing advice there, Jasmine. I feel like you touched right on it. Most people are looking to be motivated all the time. And the thing is, you're not going to be motivated all the time. You just have to show up. So thank you for those amazing tips. Again, guys, I hope you guys are all taking notes because they're dropping some gems. Let's move over to Justin. Justin, seeing as we have a lot of youth that have tuned in, would you mind just highlighting some of the challenges that you faced during high school and how you overcame them?
Great question. I feel like what helped me overcome or some of the challenges that I had during high school was actually, you know, wanting to be accepted. And I feel like now in a place where we are, every kid just wants to be accepted. Every youth wants to be accepted. We all want friends. We all want to be popular. We all want to be the man, so to speak. But what I chose to do is to kind of look towards myself and see that most of the time, the people that you're trying to be accepted by or want to be accepted by is not the people who are for you. When you really look deep inside yourself, the people that accept you or the people that you end up with are the people who are most like you and who also are in the same positions as you. So it comes down to not looking for validation or trying to be like anybody else, but actually just being who you are. So the advice that I would give them is to just continue to be who you are, and the right people will find you. Whether that be friends, people that you hang out with on a daily basis, your acquaintances, your teachers, whomever it is, being yourself is always the answer to gaining the true attention and affection from other people.
Amazing. I think that's very, very, very great advice. That's not only for youth, but even for adults as well. That's great advice. Thank you for that. Wally, question for you. Many of us suffer from imposter syndrome, you know, and seeing as you've been presented with amazing opportunities like performing in front of Barack Obama, how do you deal with imposter syndrome if you've ever faced that? Because I think that'll be great to share with the youth in the audience today.
That's a great question. I don't know if I've ever really experienced that personally, but I do have to say a lot of people are trying to become carbon copies of other people on social media. That's something that I see all the time. One thing that I think is really important to note is, and this kind of goes back to what I said earlier, but like, what is the reason? What is your why, right? People want to follow celebrities and be like these individuals that are so-called influencers on Instagram. But the question is, what do they influence? What are they saying with their power and their platform? Is that something that is worth being a part of? Is it a discussion or a conversation or a dialogue that you want to help perpetuate and grow? Or is it one that doesn't deserve to grow at all? Because a lot of these young kids, and myself included when I was younger, when we look up to these rap artists that, you know, their ideas of what it means to be a man and masculinity, or you know, perpetuating some of the things that Jasmine was talking about, gender-based violence and the treatment of women, and the ideas of, you know, you got to be on this like paper chase and you got to be like smashing girls and doing drugs to be accepted. I mean, this is why so many kids feel like, you know, they can never live up to that idea of what it means to be a man. And partly it's because you look up to these people that don't have, you know, a solid sense of worth themselves. And so I think, you know, this imposter syndrome comes from people that are insecure and they want to make themselves seem like they're not insecure by putting on this front of who people want, they want people to think they are. And then people that themselves are also insecure look up to that and think that's the way that they need to be to take care of their insecurities. For example, if you're a man that's a weak man, then, you know, for you, it's okay to yell at a woman and be abusive. But if you were a strong man, you know the power of patience, right? But social media and some of these icons and pop icons and movies and all this stuff that's out there, gives young people this idea that, you know, to be cool, to be popular, to be accepted, to be someone of worth and value and fame, you got to be like that. And that's absolutely not true. You know, I think some of the greatest people on earth are people that you'll never see on social media. You know, some of the greatest people in history are ones that were hated by people at the beginning because they stood for what was right. You know, like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. I mean, you know, Gandhi. Some of these people were people that were actually notoriously hated by many people of power and people in positions of authority, right? So when you think about it, you know, a lot of people that want to be successful and they want to, you know, achieve this greatness or be, you know, in a place of influence themselves, they need to prepare for a lot of uncomfortable conversations and dialogue and positions from the jump, because it's not going to come easily, you know? So yes, we all want to be famous. We all want to be popular, but it's like, why do you want that? You know, you just want to have a blue check mark because it's cool and it's going to stroke your ego, or, you know, is that something that's going to help grow something that is really making a difference in the lives of others? And so I think it's really important to know your why. And it's important to understand that, you know, the people that are in these great positions, they comes with a lot of hard work, discipline, and challenges, and you got to embrace those challenges to get there.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So many gems. I can't even pinpoint just one because I felt like every line was a gem.
Thank you.
Let's move over to Jasminder. Question for you. Wally just touched on knowing your why and things like that, and I think that's so important. So with everything that you're doing, what is your why?
I would say that my why, I touched on this before, is definitely to create a better world, right? A space that is free, you know, from inequities, a place that's free from gender-based violence. The thing that I would say motivates me every single day is, you know, seeing that this type of stuff happens. You know, when it comes to, for example, human trafficking, like a lot of us, you know, I know from being in the Peel region, I went to UTM, as Wally mentioned, we went to UTM together. You know, Square One Mall is one of the most ripe, like, hunting grounds for traffickers to be picking up young women in all of Canada to traffic. And yeah, these are mind-blowing things that, you know, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the education, and recognizing that oftentimes people don't have that knowledge and education. People are not coming across this stuff in their everyday. These are not the the conversations that are happening. My goal is, how are we going to start this conversation, and how are we going to take it into a space that is actionable, right? What are the actions that we can then take? I understand that we're frustrated. And so one of the goals that I always have is, whenever I share a piece of news or something like that around the world, a lot of it can be frustrating, right? So when I share that piece of news, then what's the actionable item, right? Can we write to somebody? Can we talk to somebody about it? Can we raise our own education about it, right? And so I see a lot of this stuff happening when it comes to different movements and things of that nature, where, you know, people, they'll see it, they'll repost it on Instagram, but have you done the work? Have you educated yourself? Have you written to somebody, you know, like a politician or something like that? Have you, you know, done some of the background work? And a lot of us don't even understand how to engage in activism. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we've never been taught. So how are we going to go about learning this, right? And so on my social media, you know, my biggest goal is, you know, to engage in activism myself, and then also to bring others in, right? Wally said, you know, very eloquently that, you know, if you're just doing it to chase clout, or you're just doing it to, you know, get that blue check mark, what is the purpose behind that, right? So I definitely feel that for myself, my why is to create a better world. And, you know, I think we all really need to think critically about our whys and understand that in order to really understand our purpose.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. I think that's a very beautiful why. And that was shocking to me. I did not know that about Square One being one of the hunting grounds for sex trafficking. I too am a UTM alumni. I went to UTM with Chris. So that was news to me. That's actually pretty scary. But again, thank you so much for sharing with us. Justin, to answer the last question for this set of panelists, the question would be, as a founder, you are the founder of Dream Chasers. What are some challenges that you faced as somebody who was building something?
You know, it's just like any other business. A lot of people tend to think that it's so much easier than it is, right? And especially in a day and age that we're in now, where you know, it's so easy to quote unquote start a business. As long as you open an Instagram page and say, I'm a trainer, or I'm a fitness trainer, I'm a photographer, you technically have a business now and a following. So you could do that. But when I started my business, I started when there was no Instagram, or it was just starting. So it was a lot different for me than what I see now. So what I think that a lot of the challenges are now is competing with those people who have done it in that way, who haven't grown it organically, and who, like Wally and Jasminder are saying, who are doing it for the wrong reasons. And I'm not one to, you know, talk about anybody else, or to say who's doing it for what reasons. I'm just saying that there's so much more out there now. So I feel like it could possibly be watered down. So a lot of the challenges, again, to touch on it, would be, one, why are you doing it? Who are you incorporating in your business? And how are you going to get the right people to connect with, to grow your business? And so what I would say is, again, you have to figure out what your purpose is and why you're doing what you're doing, and then continue to grow internally. And then your growth internally is what's going to affect your outcome.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I could definitely imagine what it's like, because I feel like competition is something that's always going to be there and it's forever changing. But I could definitely hear what you're saying about starting something organically, and then now you have like all these other people that are launching something every other day, and it's a lot easier for them. I could definitely hear those concerns. And again, thank you guys so much for everything that you guys said. I think you guys have left a lot of things for the youth to take back. Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? What is your purpose? And I think those are things that we all need to be thinking about. And those are things we need to give thought to continuously. I don't think those questions ever really end. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Jasminder, thank you for tuning in. Justin, thank you for coming. Wally, we appreciate you. And again, everybody that's tuned in, don't forget to follow these people on social media. They're great people to be connected with. Again, if you missed their links, you can go over to the poster for this event and you could see everybody because they're tagged there. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring Jalen back to the platform as we're going to have a fireside chat more about his styling services. Hey, Jalen, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us again. We wanted to, dive a little bit more into what you do, especially as a stylist and a fashion influencer. I think for me, there's two things that I would really just like to talk to you about is I've known you for many, many years. We used to work together at Topshop Sherway, where we opened the very first Topshop location at Sherway there. Yes. And for as long as I've known you, you've always been Jalen in terms of your fashion sense. It hasn't really changed much. It's just evolved. So my question for you is, being somebody who's so different from the norm, because I think your style is very different, where do you find the confidence to stay true to who you are and to stay consistent in that, where there's pressure to change and to conform? How do you stay true to Jalen and who he is as a person?
As a younger kid, I've always just been that kid who was just different, who was just a person who spoke different. I never really fit into the norm. For me, I think I inspired me, honestly. I said to myself, growing up, I want to, really just inspire people in the fashion industry to just really, be different and be them, be themselves, but still carry an aura where it's like they don't have to be afraid to put on certain outfits. They don't have to be afraid to put on certain things. They don't have to be afraid of what the norm says. Because again, we live, especially for guys. Again, when when they see guys wear colors and they see guys wear different things, they think a guy is fruity, or they think a guy is just weird or whatnot. And I've always just been a person that wanted to just, even if people wanted to say what they wanted to say, I still stuck with myself, and I still said, okay, well, it doesn't matter what you think, I'm still gonna wear this. It doesn't matter how you feel, I'm still gonna wear this, because I have a bigger purpose. My purpose is to make sure and let people know to think outside of the box when it comes to their fashion and comes to what they represent. Like, you don't have to just wear black all the time. You don't have to just wear gray all the time. So I think for me, it was just a standard of understanding that, listen, this is you, this is how you're going to be, this is how you're going to operate, despite what the world thinks. It doesn't really matter. People are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. And that's just what it is. When you are, especially when you're running a business, or when you are doing something different in this life, people are always not going to agree with you. So people may think, okay, well, he's not supposed to be wearing red because it's a girl color. He's not supposed to be wearing pink because it's a girl color. But to who? To who? Where does this narrative come from? Where does this narrative, stand from? So I think that In that aspect, I always try to break that narrative and break people from this box, because we're so consumed in this box that, like, I want people to break out of it despite what people have to say. Wear what you want to wear, still stay true to you. And if you want to wear something different, go wear that green top. If you want to wear that purple top, go wear that purple top. If you want to wear that orange top, you can do that. As long as you know, still have the boundary of that you're still yourself, and understand that, listen, people are going to like it, people are going to hate it. It really doesn't matter. It is what it is. So that's how I've always been. So yeah.
Love it. And I love that everybody is quoting you with your line, I inspire me. They said,
right.
OG. Love it, love it, love it. Thanks,
right.
Lynn. My next question for you is, how did you know that you wanted to take styling from a gig to a career? At what
Good question. That's a good question. So obviously, you know, Faith, I've just been like a retail, like, you know, worker, fashion worker, or whatever. So that's all I've been really doing. It wasn't until I started working at another retail store where I started to style mannequins. So I was styling mannequins, and then I realized I had a knack for styling other people. And then that just kind of turned into me really loving the whole aspect of styling individuals and making them look good. So from there, it honestly became like a whole like domino effect. It was like I started styling mannequins, and I quit that job. Then all of a sudden I'm styling my friends. Then all of a sudden people are paying me to style them. Then all of a sudden it was Tyra Banks. So it was just kind of like a domino effect for me. But I realized that I love making people look their greatest. I love making people look their best. And it's not even just about the outfit. It's just about how you feel inside. Like, how do you feel inside? The fact that I was able to, you know, really put a smile on your heart and understand that, okay, like, this is the makeover I've been wanting for so long, or you gave me the confidence to put on this clothing. That's everything to me. You know, like, it's everything. So that's what it is. It's finding the joy and seeing other people's happy that they've got a makeover that they've probably been wanting forever. And because the society told them they can't do it, I was here to be like, you can do this, and they did it. So that's pretty much how I kind of sprouted from that. But yeah, I just have a knack for styling others, and I love it. So it's great.
I love it. And I love that you're doing something that you love and something that you've been loving for years. So kudos to you for finally doing that. Which brings me to my last and final question for you.
Of course.
What advice do you have for any guests in our audience who want to venture out and try something new and unconventional?
Oh my gosh. Guys, start. Literally, like, I think we look at it so, you know, high tech and high frame, like, just start. Like, if you have something that you love, use your talents, and you can really make an income from that. Honestly, like, I think going into this year, like, the pandemic made me understand that there are so many talents that you could literally monetize. Like, you could monetize. If you love something, start it. If you have something that you want to do, start it. Literally get your agenda, write what you would like to do in this agenda, and day by day, just really plan everything out. Okay, this is what I want to do this first quarter. This is what I want to do this second quarter. And also, guys, don't rush. That's another thing I want to bring into the factor too. Don't rush, because we tend to see all these people on social media, and then it's like we forget, like, we don't know how they got that. We don't know how they got there. We don't know how they've gotten to where they've gone. So stick to you and just be you, and understand that if there's something that you want to try on your own, literally write those things down. I'm a writer. I always write things on my agenda. Write those things down and really just start working on it day by day. Don't rush, because when you rush it, you ruin it. And that is a quote that I go by all the time. When you rush something, you ruin it. So stay true to you, and go at your own pace, and understand that what's for you is for you. And that's not going to change regardless of how long you take. So
great advice. Great takeaway. Thank you so much, Jalen, for joining in for this fireside chat.
No
Again,
problem.
guys, if you want to connect with Jalen, feel free to follow him on Instagram at @LakeMyFashion_. Thanks for tuning in. And again, I just want to take the time to thank every single person that sat on our panel today. Thank you for your words of knowledge, wisdom, and sharing your experiences with our audience. I'm sure I don't speak for myself when I say this. We had a lot to take away from this conversation and these dialogues, and this is something that we should definitely do more of. So thank you all so much for tuning in. So Chris, whenever you're ready, please join us.
Participating in this event. Went great. All the panelists did really well. I hope you learned a lot, got some gems, write down your goals. I just want to encourage everybody to please follow our Instagram at Skills for Life. For those of you on our YouTube right now, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell others. I really want to make sure you guys take advantage of all these opportunities that you've heard. And there's always going to be a library of videos on our YouTube with tips, and this video as well. I really want to thank Faith, our host. She did an excellent job of taking us through. Thank you so much. On the back end, we had Ashley and Tiana also doing a lot of the transitions and things you're seeing in the back end. So I want to thank my staff and the rest of my staff who are curating a lot of all your posts on IG and resharing them. So continue to keep them coming. I have a whole team of them curating that. I also just want to thank again BYSSI, the Black Youth School Success Initiative, for partnering and promoting this event, and also the City of Brampton and the Brampton Advance Fund for sponsoring and letting us put this on. There's a lot more to come in the new year. We do have two big programs I want you to know about. Is our Networking and New Age, where you can be paired with somebody like Faith or others, free for you as a mentor to meet with them once a week. We set up the platform. You just have to register on our website through theskillsforlife.ca. And the program's there. We also have a Discover Your Path program, which is workshop-based like this, where you get to engage with mentors and young professionals and win prizes on a weekly basis. So the prizes don't stop here, but you do have to register for these programs. So they're all on our website under just our offers, and you can register. We're also looking for mentors. Mentors, if you're old and you want to give back, you can also mentor and sign up on our website as well. So I want you to remember those things. To number one, the things I want to leave with you is first, thank you for coming. We're going to kick it over to our DJ just now to have some music play us off. But I just want to remind you all, follow our social media, subscribe on YouTube, and check out the website and register for some programs that are going to start in the new year. They're free to you.